Hey everybody, welcome to the Jim Master Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series. How's everybody doing today? It's so nice to see all your smiley faces. We were off for just 2 days, which is so rare because we've done this show 7 days a week and we hit the over 500 episode mark last week, which was extraordinary. We had shows this weekend as well. But we were away and we were visiting family and friends. There was a big, massive family reunion out east on Long Island. And for those of you who are watching internationally, that sort of jets out from New York City further out into the Atlantic and the Long Island Sound. And going back home to the roots there and had a wonderful time. Family up from Florida and Connecticut and New York and all over. As my birthday was the week before, brother-in-law's birthday, nephew's birthday, and they all hit around the same time. We were celebrating birthdays for a long time here. You may remember we even did a 4-hour live JMS special birthday celebration with 10 surprise guests. Even comedian Judy Tenuta stopped in. Many of you are asking when she's back. Matter of fact, she just called today. We're working on the scheduling. She's going to be here on November 5th. It's her birthday weekend. So Judy will be back on the Jim Master Show live then. Had a beautiful time. So nice to get together with family and friends and see everybody and just spend some beautiful moments, not just for the birthdays, but it was a family reunion because many of us haven't been able to get together, due to COVID and all that's happening. So especially those coming from other states. So it's something we all needed to do and wanted to do. And it was so nice to see the family and relatives and catch up with longtime friends and so much more. So I hope you guys had a good time. We are back in action. We've got a week's worth of incredible guests coming up. Extraordinary. Matter of fact, we have 2 shows tomorrow. That's right. We have bassist and guitar legend from the Steve Miller Band, Kenny Lee Lewis, is joining us tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, live. And then Damian McGinty, who you know from Celtic Thunder. I've interviewed him multiple times on PBS over the years. Matter of fact, ever since Celtic Thunder came over from Ireland. He's going to be here tomorrow. We're going to do a special show at an earlier time than we normally do the show. That's 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So note that. I know you guys want to see him. This is his return visit to the Jim Masters Show live. We've had all the guys from Celtic Thunder on the show. Damian's going to be with us here exclusively, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, just before he kicks off his big U.S. tour. He's all excited about that. And again, tomorrow night, legendary guitarist and bassist from the Steve Miller Band, Kenny Lee Lewis, is going to be joining us as well. And we're really, really excited about that. We also have coming up this week, composer, lyricist, songwriter, performer Michael Mott is going to be joining us as well. We have Grammy-winning producer, songwriter Martin Azzioni. He's going to be joining us as well. And so many incredible people are going to be joining us. We're looking forward to having Marvin on the show. And we're looking forward to a great evening with you. You guys are fantastic. Thanks for all the comments, all the Instagram messages, the Facebook messages, the private emails. You guys are absolutely fantastic. And thanks for all the levity. We really appreciate that. That's what this show is all about. Light, love, and levity, sort of old school talk show style, entertainment, variety, lifestyle talk show series where we do something for everybody. And we don't just do guest interviews. We're a talk show where we've taken you on location. We've done host viewer chat backs and all kinds of cool stuff. So everybody seems to be doing well from the bevy of comments that are already built up, which we love. Our very special guest happens to be actually a dear friend. He is a veteran in the industry. He's responsible for a lot of incredible productions on Broadway and more, but he comes from a legendary entertainment family, and family originally from New York, but then they were Hollywood bound. And we'll tell you about what that connection is to some of your favorite television shows. His dad, Sam, prolific writer, 7-time Tony-nominated Broadway producer, Douglas Denoff. He's a dear friend. We've been at many functions together. We've actually supported him with productions that he's been a producer of, investor in, and so much more. He's going to be joining us in just a second. But of course, we welcome everybody to the Jim Master Show Live. If this is your first time here, we welcome you. We realize we have an international audience from all around the world, United States, Canada, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, Iceland. We've got it all. Still waiting for a few people from Antarctica and the Arctic Circle. So if you have anybody there, ring them up and tell them we're on the air right now. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Very important. That channel is Jim Masters TV. And to click the notification bell so that way there you never miss any of our episodes. You'll be notified when we have all these incredible live episodes and pop-up shows, surprise pop-up shows, host chat, levity shows on location. We've done food shows. We've done a whole host of cool things. And while you're there on the YouTube channel, which is what you're watching right now, give this episode a thumbs up. Yes, that's very important. When you give it a thumbs up and you leave a comment, YouTube loves that. Then they see it and they burst this out to even millions more around the world. So we thank you for all of that. Hello to all the lovities who are watching around the world. Yeah, we say we have a lot of levity on the show because I said the show has a lot of light, love, and levity last year. And I said it a little too fast. And what happened? The word levity came out and you guys, you hung on to it. And now you're the levity squad. And I'm Mr. Levity. And I think I levity that. Toby's watching in Encino, California. She says, howdy, Jim. Good to see you, Toby. Thanks for being with us. Nice to see everybody. We've missed you, of course. Alessandro watching in North Carolina says, hello, Jim and Lovities. Good to see you in North Carolina. Alessandra. Anne is watching from Southern California. Hello, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful day. Glad to be here early as opposed to being late. Well, if you're stuck in that LA traffic, that might make you a little late. But it's nice to have you here in Southern California, Anne. And again, we're still celebrating. We have hit the over 500 episode mark last week, which is extraordinary. A lot of levity, a lot of talking, a lot of guests, and a lot of all of you with your love and support. Sherry Larson in Kansas says, hello, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day and night. We sure are. And thanks for sharing the links to the episodes on your Facebook pages and everywhere else. We really appreciate that here at the show, Sherry. Nice to see you in Kansas. Mary Bishop is watching in Florida, FLA. She's in Pine Island, Florida, to be exact. And she says, hello, Jim and lovely friends. And you guys, you sent all these birthday gifts and cards, and that was over the top. You didn't have to do that. I liked it, but you didn't have to do it. You guys are some of the kindest viewers. I've been doing this work for years on television and radio. You are a very special lot. You really are, Mary, and all of you. Maureen, of course, rushing home from the hospital. She's a nurse in Arizona. Says, hello, everyone. Welcome home. Jim, yes, we are back in action. You were missed, but I'm so glad you got to have some Zen time with family and friends. It's nice to be together again. Yes, it is nice to be together again as well. We love it. Good to see everybody here and all these comments. Merlin is watching in Ontario, Canada. She says, hello, Jim and all. Lovities, good to see you as well. She welcomes Douglas to Levity Hall. Douglas is a fan of our show. He knows all about the levity. I reminded him, he said, bring it on, bring it on. You know, he's Tonys, Emmys, Peabodys, Oscars, you get all these cool things. But when you get a levity from our show, it's extra special. It's extra special. Sherry Larson says, welcome back, Jim. Thank you very much. Alessandra says, welcome back, Jim. You were missed. Thank you very much. Kathleen Walker is watching because obviously the New York Mets are not playing at home, if at all, now, because she works with the Mets. And they didn't do too good this year. Hey, Jim, hope you had a wonderful time with family. Hi, everyone. We went with the Mets because my father grew up a Brooklyn Dodger fan, staunch Brooklyn Dodger fan. So when the Mets evacuated, when the Dodgers did, the Mets came into town and the Mets became the team. So we were on the island and would go in to see Shay and everybody. Where are the cannolis? Those cannolis that were at one of the birthday celebrations are long gone. Good to see everybody. Thanks for all these great comments. You shared it on Facebook and Twitter. Jen Barry is watching from Allentown, Pennsylvania, the mountains of Allentown. She's all Zen. Good to see her as well, and everybody that's here. Lisa Rodrigo is in the house as well. Hi all, happy Tuesday. Nice to see you as well. Lisa, thank you very much for joining us. Everybody kicking things off here. Keep the comments coming. I see them pouring in. We love all of you and we really appreciate the comments and all the levity. Hope you guys are doing well. And as you know, if you're not feeling good today or down in the dumps, we will perk up your spirits. That's what we do here on the Jim Masters Show Live. As I mentioned, our great friend, the ultra talented Seven-time Tony Award nominated Broadway producer Douglas Denoff is here. And he's much more than just a Broadway producer. He's a super talent. He's a great guy. He's got a great sense of humor. I don't know why he hasn't run yet for the mayor of New York City. He pretty much runs the place. He knows everybody. I believe he would be elected in a landslide if he would run. Let me tell you just a little bit, because we're going to chat during the show and tell you about some exciting things that he's doing and so much more. As I mentioned, seven-time Tony-nominated Broadway producer, writer, entrepreneur. He's won the Drama Desk Award as producer and television Emmy Awards as well. In 2012, received his first Grammy nomination. And through his company, Sutton Square Entertainment, his passion is to develop and produce original new musicals and plays, as they have done many a time over. Ones that could be successful on Broadway as well as in regional theaters, touring companies for decades, shows that can become new classics in the world of theater. And leading the slate of productions on the agenda, of course, as lead producer, is That's Broadway, and the moves, the music, the magic, and so much more. We're going to talk about some of these. There's some really exciting, cool things that are coming up for 2022 as well. Also, the hilarious revival of The Pirates of Penzance, and lots more. Upcoming seasons of Broadway, the new musical Little Dancer. I just don't want to give it all away because I want Douglas to share it with us, but just some really amazing things. He also co-produced the Broadway production Slave Play, which was extraordinary. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. Also, the hit musical Pretty Woman. Yep, he was involved in that as well. He received his 5th Tony nomination as a co-producer of the 2018 Broadway revival of Harvey Fierstein's Torch Song at the Helen Hayes Theater, and so much more. He's, again, a prolific producer. In 2008, he got his first Tony nomination as producer of 39 Steps. I was there. I saw it. We have proof. I still have the red nose that they handed out. Lead producer of the critically acclaimed Clever Little Lies. Yes, and so much more. And of course, that was with Emmy, Grammy, and Golden Globe winner Marlo Thomas. That's just the short list, gang. That is just the short list. The entire time would be taken up if I told you everything that he did and is doing. Why don't we bring him in right now, live and direct from his fantastic home in New York City. I feel like Edward R. Murrow. Now we go to the home of Douglas Denoff, and he's got, wait till you see. Here he is in the flesh in 3. You ready, folks? Hang on to your hats. 3, 2, 1. There he is.
I figured if you said you still had your red nose, I have buckets of these around. So
you still have.
A nosy a day keeps the virus away. You have to. Right. And vaccines. You must get vaccinated.
And vaccines.
Wear your masks. But
absolutely, that's right. That was cool. I love that. Well, there, as I mentioned, there is proof, and there it is, my friend.
Very good.
Tell them about that night and what was actually happening that night. Why we were walking around town with these red noses. We didn't get involved in a bar fight or anything. 39 Steps, which was fantastic. And it was a wonderful, wonderful night. And you were handing those out, which was really, really, really awesome. And we've had some fantastic times with friends and colleagues over the years as well, which is so nice. And you're always so happy-go-lucky, my friend, which I think is cool. How have you been? You're like I say, you're a man about town. You like to stay busy. You like to be amongst everybody. You like to be in, just like I do. You like to be creative and connected, collaborative, and hopefully still sane. Have you everybody says, Jim, don't even bother with that one. I'm still not sane. They're not sane. How have you been during all of this? Have you stayed creative through it all?
Great. First of all, this is not my home. This is my office, which is
a very nice office.
Actually, I'm right here in the heart of Times Square at a pretty legendary building called 1650 Broadway. If you saw Beautiful, the Carole King musical, this is where it took place. 1650 Broadway was where Carole King and Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil and Lieber and Stoller all wrote so many of their songs. And then across the street down the block is the Brill Building. So these are there are ghosts in this building, as there are in so many theaters. And I really like that. And actually, my office, which is on the other side of that wall, has concrete walls because it was an actual recording studio at some point. I don't know what was recorded there, but the magic of theater is something I really love. I think the romance of it, the ghosts, the legends, the lore, the traditions are what attracted me to it when I moved back to New York in 2002. So anything you can do to preserve that magic is great. But I've been great. I spent all of that rather interesting year and a half of ours here in the city, and did a couple of day trips. I have a car, so I was able to get out once we felt it was safe to go out around, June, July of last year. But it was very surreal indeed, as we all are. But, we'll talk about the why, but we made a video to promote this new show, Dance, 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 or That's Broadway. We're not sure what we're calling it, but it's all these great show-stopping song and dance numbers. And the first video we made last April was The Music in the Mirror from A Chorus Line. And of course, the lyric is "Give me somebody to dance for." And so I think everybody on Broadway, from the stars and the talented people who perform, to the stagehands, to the people who take the tickets in the box office, we're all just waiting for somebody to dance for, to have audiences back. And that has now happily started. And it's going pretty well. So, get your vaccine, put on your mask, and come see a show and help us all have somebody to perform for. I think that's what we're all ready to have happen now.
So you stayed, right, exactly. So when some, exited back to their hometowns or what have you, then leaving the Big Apple, you hunkered down and stayed there and just kept connected and creating, huh?
Well, we moved away when I was 4.5, so I spent 40 years away from New York. So I wasn't going to waste 1 minute leaving it. I'm so happy and thrilled to live in Manhattan. It really is the greatest city, at least in America. Paris is pretty nice too.
There's a reason why you guys.
I mean, it was very surreal. The streets were really empty for months. And I think the first sign of life was, when taxi cabs started to be on the streets again. And now last Monday, the Hilton Hotel, a few blocks away, just reopened. And that's really been the biggest hotel that's been holding out. So if they feel that they can justify reopening, then I think we're on the edge of, as long as everybody behaves themselves and, and the goddesses of the virus are kind to us, I think we'll be in good shape and be back to somewhat of normal by the end of the year or the first of the year.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Now, of course, there was a reason why you moved west to Hollywood. Some fantastic reasons. There he is with Dad. I sort of teased them a little bit. Your father, a prolific writer and so much more, Sam Denoff. Tell us about Dad and the influence of the family and Dad as you lived on the West Coast, and his extraordinary work, which I know, of course, you're so proud of him and he of you. Tell us about Dad, the legend.
Well, I'm very proud to be son of Sam for you, New York. Yeah. And I'm also very grateful for my dentist who fixed that gap in my teeth. Yeah. I found my headgear the other day in some boxes of things. So
did you?
Yeah, we moved. I was 4.5. I had just started nursery school at Hunter College Elementary School, and Dad was from Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Dodgers, yay!
Yes.
He wrote a song in 1957 called "Let's Keep the Dodgers in Brooklyn," which you can find on YouTube. And one of his friends was, let me move this way. I'll shoot this way. One of his friends.
You have wheels on your chair?
Character Jose Jimenez. Had gone out to LA to be the head writer on the Steve Allen Show. And of course, Steve Allen was legendary as one of the original hosts of The Tonight Show, and that had his own repertory of great actors: Louis Nye, Tom Poston, Carl Reiner, and Mel Brooks kind of got their start with the 2,000-Year-Old Man on that show.
That's right.
And Steve was convinced by Bill Dana to hire my dad and his then writing partner, Bill Persky, to come move to Los Angeles. And Dad and Billy actually met here in New York. They both wanted to be writers and songwriters and all of that. And they met while working at a radio station here called WNEW.
Oh, yes.
An
The
AM
Make-Believe Ballroom.
Yeah.
William B. Williams.
Ballroom. They actually worked for William B. Williams, who was the
Williams.
legendary host of Make Believe Ballroom.
Yeah.
And Willie B., I remember the studio with this big record player that played 16-inch transcription discs. And Dad and Billy met there, and so they moved to California in 1961. And they started out writing the Steve Allen Show. And in fact, he did a Christmas special that Christmas that was aired live from Steve Allen and Jane Meadows' house in Studio City. I don't think I'd ever seen more plaid in my life. All those couches were all plaid. Jane loved plaid. So that was fun. And then he started to write for a few other variety shows. He wrote Julie Andrews' first television special, which I hope to bring back out on a new channel with Gene Kelly was in it.
Oh, that would be fantastic to bring that back, Douglas.
Yeah. And then he wrote Bill Cosby's first television special.
Yeah.
And then he got a job writing on the Andy Williams Show.
Mm-hmm.
And then around 1963, he and Billy, like so many great comedy writers, decided they wanted to write for the Dick Van Dyke Show, which had started in 1961. And actually, it just celebrated its 60th anniversary, October 3rd of this year. So this amazing show is 60 years old. Yikes. And they wrote a spec script to try and get hired. And Carl Reiner liked the script, had some ideas to, just polish it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up filming their spec script. And this episode became, I'm proud to say, one of the iconic episodes of the Dick Van Dyke Show called That's My Boy.
Yes.
The episode where Rob and Laura have brought their baby home from the hospital, and Rob is convinced they've brought the wrong baby home. And of course, at the end of the episode, he is sheepishly opens the door to the couple who he has invited to come exchange babies. And it turns out the couple was Greg Morris, the actor from later Mission Impossible, and his wife, who were black. And of course, the joke was on Rob because he was so silly to think anybody could mix up a baby. And it actually was the longest laugh in the history of three-camera sitcoms ever. They had to cut it for the broadcast. So that was their first script. And the show isn't about Dad, but I think what was great about as a kid being able to go visit Dad on that set was I got to see the interaction and kind of subliminally absorb what good comedy writing was. I've never myself, although I might at some point. But just in terms of my love of great writing and great writers, everything I do, all these shows, musicals, plays start with somebody wrote that.
Yeah.
In fact, the Writers Guild had a great billboard campaign about 20 years ago with an iconic line from a movie. Somebody wrote that. Here's looking at you, kid. Somebody wrote that.
Yeah.
I could have been a contender. Somebody wrote that.
Somebody wrote that.
My dear, I don't give a damn. Somebody wrote that. So, it was a great education and in terms of story and all that. And also learning the nuts and bolts of the business. I learned how to edit film from the guy who edited the Dick Van Dyke Show, and before that, I Love Lucy, Bud Nolan. I learned camera work. I got to, in 1970, 69, Dad and Billy wrote a special called Dick Van Dyke and the Other Woman, which was the special that convinced CBS to give Mary Tyler Moore her own series. And so I had a little bit part. That's me. I got to keep the shirt. I think that was.
Did you really?
Yeah. I was embarrassed. I shouldn't have worn it to school, but I didn't. But This was a funny number, which really is about what made the Dick Van Dyke Show great. The number is called "Life is Like a Situation Comedy," and somebody posted on Facebook the other day how they have a hard time watching a lot of sitcoms today. Everything's too forced. The kid's precocious and spouts lines that a 50-year-old.
I do agree 100%. Yes.
Yeah. And Carl Reiner always made sure that the writers wrote, he said, write what happens at home. That's funny enough. As you remember the Art Linkletter show, kids say the darndest thing.
Yes.
You know, kids are amazing. Just write what happens at home. And that, I think, is why the Dick Van Dyke Show is still funny and still relevant 60 years later.
Which is extraordinary. And, you know, in this shot, you almost look like you could have played little Richie.
No, Larry Matthews did a great job with that. Larry Matthews now, and he and I have stayed friends. And no, acting was not my thing. This was my one gig. I did do a billboard for Lay's potato chips. Like that, and they put a bowl of potato chips on my head in Photoshop back then. But I never had. I really envy my friends who are actors and actresses who can escape into a character. I think that must be a really amazing experience.
Yes.
But I don't have that gift, and I really also admire what a hard thing. It's hard enough to be a producer, but
yes,
an actor and to always be on the line like that.
Your dad responsible for being involved in a lot of other legendary shows as well, huh? Marlo Thomas.
Yes, Marlo Thomas had a great idea to create That Girl. She originally called it That's Miss Independence, and she pitched it to ABC, and they said, okay, we'll do this, but you need to hire some great, people to help you. And my dad and Billy had just worked with her father, Danny Thomas, was one of the executive producers of the Dick Van Dyke Show, along with Sheldon Leonard. And so she asked them to help create the series. And it was pretty amazing. And that influenced a lot of young women today who base their lives on Anne Marie's ability to go live in New York. Nobody knows quite how she could afford that nice apartment or those Cardinelli clothes, but there's something called suspension of disbelief in writing. So,
yes,
it was terrific.
That was a terrific one as well. I mean, a lot of great ones. Good Morning World.
Good Morning World was a series based on their experience at the radio station WNEW. And it was Goldie Hawn's first series before Laugh-In.
That's
and
right.
They ended up writing also a TV special for Goldie called Pure Goldie, which guest starred a wonderful actor named Kermit the Frog. You've probably heard of him. And they did her first special. So, yeah, that one only lasted 13 weeks, but you can watch it on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Called Good Morning World.
Lots of luck.
And lots of luck came later. That was with Dom DeLuise.
Yes.
It's on an English series called On the Buses. Dom played a guy who worked in the Lost and Found out in Queens in the bus yards. And it's really funny. It's funny now. He lives at home with his mother, his sister, and her ne'er-do-well, not working husband.
Deadbeat husband, right?
Yeah. Kathleen Freeman, who played his mother, always had a great, doesn't matter if you're Italian, Jewish, the guilt is there. And her line was, do I have a son or don't I have a son?
A brilliant character actor in so many of the shows of the day. If you watched I Dream of Jeannie or whatever, she would be in so many of them playing some sort of a character, a very familiar face. Quite a man, huh? The love of father and son, as always. I know that with mine as well. It's a very special bond. How do you, a lot of people in the industry can describe Sam Denoff, but to you, he's dad. How does Douglas describe who Sam was?
Well, honestly, he didn't love fatherhood very much.
Yeah.
He called us can I say the F word? He called us the bleeping loved ones, myself and my 3 siblings.
Yeah.
But he made sure we all had a good life.
Yes.
He's gone 10 years now.
Yeah.
But, he taught us a lot. I mean, the best part for me was getting to go to the studio, whether it was at Desilu Studios during the Dick Van Dyke Show and That Girl, or Good Morning World, or to NBC in Burbank, where they taped all the big variety shows. I really cherish those times. This he's wearing a tie with wine on it. He had a group of guys that got together every other Friday at a restaurant in Hollywood, and drank great wine and exchanged, boasted about their wine collection. So once in a while, the next generation was allowed to come, and we had a good time.
That's wonderful. You can definitely see the resemblance there as well.
We have the same nose, the same tuchus that we both got from his mother, my grandmother Esther.
and I was gonna his grandmother Esther. Wow,
my grandmother Esther, his mother.
You have a grandmother Esther? That's my mother's name as well.
Wow.
Are we cousins?
We might be.
You were in Brooklyn and I was on Long Island. You were in Brooklyn and I was on Long Island.
It's all connected. Brooklyn is just the inner part of Long Island. It really is. It's all one thing there.
And we can run through a variety of different things because there's a little bit of a, nice little down memory lane a little bit. But you've had, as I mentioned, the opportunity to do the 39 Steps before with the Red Noses and everything. And that was a spectacular production.
Well, that came, the 39 Steps was the first show I was offered to co-produce. Just for your viewers who don't know, see above the title of a play, you normally see 1 or 2 names at the top. Those are the lead producers, the people who nurse the show through possibly years of development and love and care. And then under that are the co-producers who used to be anonymous angel investors. And a while ago, about 20 years ago, someone realized more people might contribute to theater if they got their name above the title and were eligible for a Tony Award. So I started out, as a lot of people do, as a co-producer, and I was at a party and talking about some ideas I had to a producer named Harriet Levy at my friend Sima Levine's house. And she called me the next day and she said, we're bringing this show from London where it's run for 5 years called The 39 Steps. It's a spoof of a Hitchcock show, Hitchcock movie. And if you think you can raise $100,000 towards the $2 million cost it'll take to open the show, you can be a co-producer on it. So I drove up to Boston to see it, and I really loved it. And for those of you who've seen it, you know what I mean. It's just amazing. 4 actors play all the parts, and it's very fast-paced, and they say a line, change a hat, say a line, change a hat. And ended up raising over $400,000 for the run. And it was a lucky first shot. It ran 3 years on Broadway, moved theaters twice, and then moved off Broadway for about 6 months. And it was really amazing. But the one thing I noticed was, those are the posters up on the top there, and it was that great image of a guy hanging off a train with a cocktail on this pipe. But a lot of times people didn't get that it was a comedy, and every night the stage manager wrote a report, and it said it took the audience about 17 minutes into the show to get, oh, wait, we're here for fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd be standing in front of the Helen Hayes Theater where it ran for a year, and people would walk by with kids and say, oh, we can't bring kids to that. It's Hitchcock, it's scary. And I said, no. So I always thought it should be funny. And about halfway through the run, the ad agency wanted to change the artwork. And I really thought, let's figure out a way to make this funny. So I looked on the internet for things that would instantly make something funny. And I looked for Groucho glasses. I looked for the Steve Martin arrow through the head. And I came up with a red nose, which I stuck on this iconic photograph of Mr. Hitchcock. And I thought, well, that kind of does it. So I presented it at the ad agency, and the head of the ad agency said, oh, that's not funny. Everybody had just laughed, so I think he was wrong. So after that run ended, I really wanted to bring the show back and make it kind of an evergreen show like Stomp and Blue Man Group. So in 2015, we brought the show back to Union Square Theater, thinking it could be there forever. And we use the red nose on all the advertising. If you go to the website, 39stepsny.com, you can see we put it on the Bull on Wall Street and the Statue of Liberty, and people got it. And then I thought, well, let's give people soft, squishy red noses, and they'll post selfies wearing a nose, which becomes a hashtag nosy. And then coincidentally, a week before we started previews in April, Red Nose Day came from London for the first time as a charity, which nobody is quite sure what it is, but it's a good charity for kids. And so there was all this overflow of red noses, and the red noses really worked. And if you go on the website, you see there's pictures of tons of kids with red noses on their fingers and everything. So it really showed me that you could take an already great successful show and find a whole new audience. And we started getting busloads of 5- and 6-year-old kids coming and just having a great time. And then they'd send us videos of kind of mimicking the wonderful theatricality of it on their couches at home. So it was fun. So I would love to bring it back. I think it's time to start laughing again in the world.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's it. And actually, and I'm looking at it, that is a cake. 39 steps cake.
I'm known for my
That's right. That
cake.
was at,
you can make different stencils for different occasions.
That was at Neil Rubenstein's, one of his soirees that time. Yes, and there's June.
That's June, who I think is watching tonight.
Yes, she said hello. Yes.
Hi, June, and that's Erin Sullivan, who does a solo show as Marilyn Monroe. That's wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. I mentioned a couple of these other incredible productions. How do you... there's so many opportunities that I'm sure that are presented to you, as they are to anybody, to produce, to invest, to believe in something. What are some of the factors, Douglas, that you look for that really have to meet what you're looking for in terms of the production, results, creativity? I mean, there's a lot of different factors in order for you to say, okay, I'm going to step in and help make this happen. What do you look for?
That's a really good question, Jim. The first thing is, do I love it? Because whether it does well or it doesn't do well, I want to see it. I mean, 39 Steps I've seen over 350 times. And so is it something I want to see more than anything else? Second, what's the business model? Is the budget sensible? Is there a reasonable chance that my investors can make back their money during the run? That's crucial. If I'm not the lead producer, who is the lead producer? Are they going to be inclusive with, sharing information? Two of my mentors, Manny Eisenberg and Nell Nugent, are sort of legends in this business, and they are, very comfortable with you sharing all the information with all your investors so everybody knows what's going on. Good news or bad, you don't want to read about it in the press. You want to know beforehand. So those are the three main things. Do I love it? Does the business make sense? And who's running the ship? And is it someone that we're going to have a good time with? Because you're going to be together for hopefully a few years, and you want to have fun. Yeah. And I wouldn't do this if I didn't really love it. And the theater community, having grown up in Hollywood, which is a little less, there's an old saying, Hollywood is where you could die of hope. But the theater community has been wonderful. You can get started as a co-producer. You start going to workshops and backers auditions and readings, and pretty soon you meet people. And then you hang out at Sardi's or other places, and you get to drink with people and make friends. And it's a lovely community. So the magic of it and the romance of it is helped by the welcoming feeling. It really is it sounds cliche, but it really is a great family. So, if you're going to produce a show together, you want to like each other. You want to eat together. It's essential that everybody wants to break bread.
It becomes like family in many ways. Yeah, absolutely.
This is the family you can pick.
Exactly. I mentioned this one here. We can go through a couple of them to refresh the audience's memory, or they might not even realize you were involved in them. Tell us about this one here with Marlo.
Clever Little Lies was written by Joe DiPietro, one of my good friends and a terrific playwright and musical writer. He wrote Memphis. He wrote the book for Nice Work If You Can Get It, which I was thrilled to co-produce. He wrote the new musical Diana about Princess Diana. And this was a play that he had developed out at the George Street Playhouse, directed by its artistic director, David Saint. And it was brilliantly funny. And it starred Marlowe and Greg Malavy and Kate Weatherhead, who is now writing the book for the Devil Wears Prada musical, and George Merrick. And we decided to transfer it from the George Street Playhouse off Broadway. So myself and Joan Raffi and Jet Tolentino opened the show at the West Side Theater in 2015. And it was so much fun. And the show ran for about 9 months. Off-Broadway is a tough model for plays and musicals, but it did pretty well. And Marla was on the Today Show. It was such an honor to be connected with her again professionally. We'd known each other since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it was an extraordinary performance. And the play is being licensed all over the world. In fact, we get a lot of licensing royalties from Poland. I don't know what
Do you really?
who resonates in Poland, but it's really great. And Joe's work is, comedy can move you as well, and it opens up your heart to go in and, so that's what really, it's not jokes, it's humor, and there's a big difference. And Joe's writing is very much like Dad and Billy and Gary Marshall and Jerry Belson and Rick Middleman and Sam Barbrook and all the people who wrote the Mary Tyler Moore Show and Cheers. It's humor, and I think we really need more of that.
We do
in our lives. So that was a great play. That was the second play I was lead producer on. The first one was another great comedy called Handle with Care, written by Jason Odell Williams, and his wife Charlotte Cohn starred in the play and did all the Hebrew translations. It was a Jewish love story set in a motel on Christmas Eve. So. And we were lucky to have Carol Lawrence,
there it is,
the original Maria in West Side Story, play an Israeli grandmother.
Wow.
Both plays were critics' picks as well. So
yeah, you can see all the comments and all the praise there. That was fantastic to be a part of that, I'm sure, as well. And so many, I mean.
Yeah, this was a show. It never made it to New York. There was another Janis Joplin musical that ended up happening, but my friend Gigi Gaston, who's a wonderful screenwriter and director, wrote this for her then wife, Sophie B. Hawkins, who was an extraordinary Janis Joplin. And we did this. This ran almost a year at a little theater in West Hollywood, California, and it was really fun.
Here's another one too.
China Doll, yes. In one season, I co-produced the Broadway revival of Fiddler on the Roof with Danny Burstein, which was really wonderful. And this play by Mr. Mamet, which was interesting. It made all its money back because Mr. Pacino sells a lot of tickets. But all due respect, I think it was probably one of the less beloved of Mr. Mamet's works, but it was still fun to be a part of it.
To be a part of as well. And of course, Annie as well.
Yeah, I produced the cast album of that 2012 revival, which was a lot of fun. I started a little record label called Shout Broadway in partnership with my friends at Shout Factory. And so we did the Nice Work If You Can Get It album and that album, which was fun.
Fiddler, there it is.
Fiddler on the Roof, which is now back on tour. The tour has resumed.
Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
And this was a wonderful production. And then I wasn't involved in the Yiddish Fiddler.
Yes, we had last weekend. We had Adam B. Shapiro, who played Tevye in that version on. He was terrific, wasn't he?
I mean, it's Fiddler. How wonderful! It's sort of the model of exactly what a perfect musical is in terms of structure. There's a classic structure of musicals. Even Book of Mormon follows it, no matter how irreverent it is. And that Fiddler is really there's a great documentary on Amazon you can watch.
That's fantastic. We'll take a look. We'll have to take a look for that.
That was an interesting play, witnessed by the world, about a reporter who digs into Jack Ruby and why did he assassinate Lee Harvey Oswald. I won't tell you the ending, but if you're a conspiracy theorist, you would love Witnessed by the World.
You know, what's really cool is the variety of things you get a chance to be, involved in, which I think is quite quite extraordinary. You mentioned this one briefly. Joe was a guest on our show last year, and he's prolific and amazing as well. Tell us about this one.
I saw the workshop of it. Actually, I saw a reading of it up at New York Stage and Film at Vassar College. And then they had a workshop here in New York, and several of my investors were there, and they liked it, so we decided to get involved.
Yeah. And for anybody that didn't see it, how does it differ from anything that maybe people might have seen in terms of sort of telling the story of Diana?
Well, Joe and David Bryant from Bon Jovi, who is his frequent collaborator, basically wrote a rock opera. So the score mostly is very up-tempo and rock and rolly and poppy, because compared to Charles, that's what Diana was. She was younger, she was more exuberant, and but it touches on some beautiful moments in her life when she was at the AIDS hospital and all of that, and her troubled relationship with the Queen and with Charles. I won't spill the beans. You can watch it on Netflix, but it resumes performances on Broadway in November. And although I'm not technically a co-producer on it anymore, I think it's a lot of fun, and I think you'll enjoy seeing it.
Absolutely. Here's another one too that I know you're talking about a little bit.
Little Dancer is an upcoming musical starring Tyler Peck about the dancer who posed for that iconic Degas sculpture, and the artist Edgar Degas. And the score is by Aronson Flaherty, who wrote Ragtime and Once on This Island. It is such a gorgeous score, and the musical, the visuals of it, it's directed by Susan Stroman, who is an extraordinary artist. And the designers, Beowulf Borick did the set, Ken Billington did the lighting, and William Ivy Long did the costumes. And you actually feel like you're looking at the Degas paintings of ballerinas on the stage. It's really beautiful. So hopefully that'll come to Broadway next year.
American
Son was a terrific play with Kerry Washington and Stephen Pasquale. Kind of a shocking ending. You can watch that on Netflix too.
That's on Netflix as well.
Accidentally Brave, I support it. It's a solo show by a terrific friend of mine named Maddie Corman, who tells a heartbreaking story of something that rocked her marriage and her family. And she told it in a very compelling way. Daryl Roth produced that, and it's a really good solo show.
This one too, a Baltimore in black and white.
Yeah, we never actually produced that.
Yeah.
That was the first play of Jason O'Dell Williams that I had seen. I went to a reading, and Jason is from Baltimore, and I really liked it. And so I ended up, Handle with Care became the play that actually he and his wife and I produced off Broadway. But he's a terrific writer.
There was also Nice Work If You Can Get It.
Just Gershwin, wall-to-wall Gershwin. It was with Matthew Broderick and Kelly O'Hara, and then later Jesse Bueller came in and replaced Kelly. And just great singing and dancing, directed by Kathleen Marshall. I don't think you could have had a better time in the theater. I saw that one about 45 times.
Did you really? That is cool. How about this too?
Seawall of Life. I think I was fortunate to be involved in two plays last season that were Tony nominated: Slave Play and Seawall of Life. And this was really extraordinary because that season had a lot of plays that were very loud, and this was just two monologues. First Tom Sturridge and then Jake Gyllenhaal, just telling a story. And it was the first time I'd been in a theater where for the entire 2 hours there wasn't a sound. Nobody drank a drink or swirled a thing or crackled a thing. Everyone was just focused. And there's that connection that an audience has in a theater. It's said that in a theater, everyone's heartbeat synchronizes.
Yes.
And it was really a magical thing to watch these two actors tell these very compelling stories. It was really a beautiful experience. I hope it can be filmed somewhere or done somewhere or come back somewhere. It was really a privilege to be a part of it. And it made its money back in 9.5 weeks, which was really kind of
Which, what are some other projects that you've been involved in that the audience might not be privy to that you're very proud of and you were excited to have been a part of it?
in the past. I think the other one I really loved was Latin History for Morons, which was John
Yes.
Leguizamo's solo show, because it really opened my eyes up to, we just had Indigenous Peoples Day, and people were talking about how the Americas were discovered. They weren't discovered. The Mayans, the Incas, the Aztecs were here. The Europeans discovered it and exterminated most of those indigenous people. So John Leguizamo tells this story in a very funny, and he's a genius. And it was filmed for Netflix as well, so you can watch it. And if you haven't seen it, and if you have kids, you should really watch it, because there's a whole slew of books he mentions that I got and read, and it really was a fabulous example of how a comedian, a comic actor, can tell a really powerful story. And John is just amazing. So I love that.
So, does it ever become overwhelming? Meaning, you might have like several productions and projects going on simultaneously. Maybe there's one in New York, then it's in London and elsewhere, or there's just a lot of people coming to you and say, Douglas, take a look at this. I'd really like to bring you on board. I want you to have a part of this.
Oh,
Does it ever get overwhelming?
It's always an honor when someone asks you to be a part of things. As a lead producer, it's pretty all consuming. So, I mean, pretty much for the past year, I've only been focused on Dance, 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 which is, I think, exactly what we need on theater right now. It's a review. It's just 25 of our favorite show-stopping song and dance music numbers from musicals that we all love: 42nd Street, Singing in the Rain, Grand Hotel, Will Rogers Follies, A Chorus Line, Pippin, Bringing a Noise, Bringing a Funk. It's just great fun, and I think we really need that right now. It's sort of based on the legacy of a not-for-profit called American Dance Machine, which was originally founded in the 70s by a dancer named Lee Theodore, and then she passed away in the early 80s. And about 8 years ago, a dancer named Nikki Fear Atkins revived the organization as American Dance Machine for the 21st century. And their mission was to preserve these choreography, not just by filming them, which is relatively easy now to do, but by having the choreographers sort of hand down from them to dancers who did it, to dancers who did it. So you get the story behind the choreography. And they did a production in 2015 at the Joyce Theater that was a massive sellout. I was there. And the New York Times called it the best anthology I've seen since Jerome Robbins' Broadway, which was lovely. Mm-hmm. And so it's a new version of that show that we're now bringing to Broadway next year. And I wish we could show some clips that we've made, some videos of numbers from the show out in New York during COVID. And I guess because of copyright and YouTube, we can't show them right now. But if you go to adm21.org, which is ADM's not-for-profit organization's website, if you go to the videos section, you can watch some of these videos. We did The Music in the Mirror from A Chorus Line. We did Cool from West Side Story, which was directed by our show's director, Josh Bergass. We did the big tap dance number from Bullets Over Broadway, Tain't Nobody's Business If I Do, where he had 20 guys in pinstripe suits dancing on the roof of a building here in Midtown. And we dedicated that to Nick Cordero, who starred in the musical on Broadway, who sadly passed away from COVID. We just filmed a choreographer named Caleb Teicher staged Moses Supposes from Singing in the Rain, which is just a joyous example of tap dancing. And then we're about to release a video from Camille A. Brown, who's an amazing director and choreographer, of an excerpt from Once on This Island. And we have a number from the Will Rogers Follies, which was choreographed by Tommy Tune, and this number by Jeff Calhoun. And we have the 10 original women from the Broadway cast, and then 10 of ADM's new dancers / Rockettes, with Katie Huffman playing Will Rogers.
Oh,
so
boy.
That'll be out soon. So if you go to adm21.org, you can watch the videos. You can make a donation to ADM21, which would be lovely. And if you want to get involved in the musical, call me up. we'll do that. But we're hopefully coming to Broadway in the spring. We were actually offered a Broadway theater in December, but the run wasn't a long run. And with COVID, the uncertainty, we decided to wait until spring. But we will go to a couple of pre-Broadway runs out on the West Coast first, and then hopefully we'll be able to open in June or July and run for a long time. But it's just great fun. We've been binging on Hulu and Netflix for 2 years, so here's a chance to binge on Broadway.
Binge on Broadway, exactly.
Which is a website I copyrighted, so we'll use it.
So it's coming back. It's coming back. You're there. For anybody that's like outside New York, that's saying, should I go to New York? Should I go to a show? It's coming back. You're in the thick of it right now. Right?
I mean, the streets are busy. The restaurants, you have to be vaccinated. You have to wear your mask in the theater, which is not a big deal. And what's lovely is to see is the audiences are so grateful to be back in the theater that everybody's being so nice to each other, and the ushers are being nice, and the parking attendants are being nice. It's just, we're so happy that things are slowly feeling a little more normal. And so it's definitely worth it to see a Broadway show, play, musical, whatever you love. And a lot of shows are offering discounts right now. So it's much more accessible. And a lot of shows, we certainly will. And I know a lot of my friends who are producing shows are setting pricing so that, we know we've been without an income for a long time. So you're not going to have to spend $5,000 to see Hamilton. You'll be able to get a ticket for a reasonable price. So do come. There's a website called tdf.org where you can buy tickets to shows on a discount also, or you can go to the booth in Times Square, where the steps. And it's so important, during every major crisis in the world, people have turned to entertainment to nourish themselves, to come back, to start to feel normal. And it's really weird to be sitting in a theater surrounded by people, even if they're wearing masks. You can't imagine that we used to do this, but it feels great. It's really fantastic.
Right. And to hear the oohs and ahs and to see the smiles and the joy, you couldn't even script that. If you weren't doing this, Douglas, what else would you be doing? I mean, you're so immersed in this. You love it so much.
This is about my 5th career. I'm sort of a serial entrepreneur, which means I can't work for anybody else.
Yeah.
But, if Broadway weren't here, I think I'd move to Europe and open a fabulous bed and breakfast, buy a castle somewhere, or, a little inn somewhere, and just make sure people had great food and beautiful things to look at. But, nice. I love this. And, Broadway is a thing. George Abbott was directing at 103.
Yes.
So, as long as I can. I mean, I've only been doing this 14 years. The other day was the night I was offered by Harriet Levy to co-produce 39 Steps. So it seems like it hasn't been that long, but I mean, these posters are just an example of the fun that you can have. And it's as much fun to be involved in it as it is to be sitting in the audience.
To be in the audience. Yeah. What about television? Obviously you got television in the family. There's television and/or movies, something you ever wanted to go further in?
I'll go back into that eventually. One of the things I want to do actually is create a new television network. I'm calling it Comfort TV, the mac and cheese of television. All of these shows that were created by my dad and Bill Persky and the Thomases and, all of these great sitcom people, they're available on Amazon and all of that. But I think there's an interesting way to do it that not only has a better business model to take less commission for being an agent to put the show up there, but also to have, like, Goldie Hawn did Dad's series before Laugh-In. So have Goldie come on and tape a new wraparound, kind of like Dick Van Dyke used to be the chairman of the board of TV Land,
Right.
and show people what it was like. He and Bill Persky did a series called The Funny Side, which was 5 different couples ranging from a young married couple to an elderly couple, taking a different look from each of their point of view at a topic each week. And the young wife was played by Cindy Williams before Laverne and Shirley. So have Cindy on and create a thing. So that is interesting in television. We've talked about the stories of the dancers in American Dance Machine in some of these videos, maybe creating a series about them. Different than what a chorus line is, because you can't touch perfection. But there's a couple of movie ideas floating around, possibly. We'll see what happens.
Would you ever write a book, a memoir?
Would I write a book?
With all the people and experiences, all the way from being on the Desilu sets and all the way up. Could you imagine?
There's about 10 of Carl's books in that bookshelf. And he did such a great job of writing those books. I think people care about Carl Reiner and Dick Van Dyke, who's written a book. As a kid growing up, I don't know. I'd rather spend my time doing this right now. A friend of mine is the son of Edie Adams, and he has a podcast called Rarefied Airs, Heirs. And he interviews the children of people like that, like me and Lucy Arnaz and all of that. I mean, that's fun, but I don't know that a book. Maybe I'll write a book on producing someday.
I was going to say, do you see any, and again, you don't know, I guess, until you think about it, but do you like to mentor? Do you like to teach others? It's something you would love to teach?
I do love to do that. My dad taught comedy writing at USC, and I love mentoring. It's great to have new people come in. I was involved in an organization called True Theater Resources Unlimited, which mentors producers. And I really love doing that because I had great mentors. Manny Eisenberg was the producer. He's sort of the godfather of Broadway. And he produced almost everything Neil Simon ever wrote. And he knew my father. And when I moved here, I asked him, there used to be a restaurant affectionately called the Polish Tea Room, which was a deli in the Edison Hotel. And they made great matzo ball soup. Yes. And so I invited him for lunch. And he was a great teacher. And the way I knew he would be a great model as a producer for me is he had written my father a letter. And apparently Manny had moved offices. And his secretary had meticulously crossed out the old address and typed in the new address. This multiple Tony-winning producer wasn't going to waste 40 pages of obsolete letterhead when he moved offices. He repurposed it. I said, that's a guy who can teach me how to be a responsible, respectful producer. And he's still a good friend, and he has been a great mentor. So, as has Nell Nugent. And so it's nice to have those traditions of great producing handed down, just like, great writers or composers study from the people that came before them. So, yeah, I'd love to do that. Maybe I should have a television show like you.
Well, come on over. We will toast. You have your drink still there, right?
I do. It's just seltzer.
We're a fancy schmancy show.
For Broadway.
We shall toast. Cheers, my friend. Cheers, 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 and sláinte and mazel tov and everything else.
Na zdrowie. My 23andMe says I'm 99.5% Ashkenazi Eastern European. So I better work on my Polish, I think. I definitely love Polish potato vodka, although this is just seltzer.
Ashkenazi, I thought that was in Nebraska. There's somebody here who is actually right up your alley, but he's here every night, and he sort of pops in every now and then to say hello and to say you knocked it out of the park, kiddo. Mr. George Burns is with us this evening.
Hello, George. How are you, George? Nice to see you.
He is here, and he usually pops in to say hello with his cigar and his red hanky. This was my aunt's. She collected dolls, and when he turned 100, I guess this came out limited. And when she passed, it got passed down to me. So we sort of use him towards the latter part of the show, just to say You did good, kid.
He did a great
I'm sure you
movie
came across him, right?
directed by Carl Reiner called Oh God.
Oh, God, that's right. Now, did you ever come across him in your time
I
out
saw
in?
him once at Hillcrest Country Club in Los Angeles. I never met Mr. Burns. No.
Yeah. Was there anybody that of all the people you had a chance to, meet or just have, grace your presence, maybe your dad was working with him, that you wish you got a chance to meet and or work with over the years?
Well, I mean, it was such a joy to know Dick Van Dyke, and a while ago, he was thinking about doing a one man show, and I said I would love to be involved in bringing that to Broadway. And I'm sad it didn't happen yet, although I'm not going to give up because we went to an event and I was driving him back home. And I said, Dick, you're so beloved. You're so adored. Is there any role that you've wanted to play that you never had the chance to do it? And he said, Dougie, I'll tell you, I always wanted to be the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz. So I said,
Yes, I could see
him,
that.
Alan Zweibel, who was writing the show with him, I said, all right, so you should do the whole show, and it's wonderful, and he talks about his life and his sobriety and everything. And then he can come out and he say, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wonderful evening. And, there's somebody once asked me if there's any role I'd like to play. And, well, it's my show tonight, so I'm going to do the role I always want to play. And the lights would come down, and lights come up, and you see a cornfield, and he does, the song from The Wizard of Oz. That would be a joy to actually see that happen. But no, I've been very lucky. I mean, that's what I love about being a creative producer is you get to be around and become friends with the people who create. It's like being friends with Picasso or Beethoven, to be friends with Martin Charnin, who wrote the words, "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow," and all of those lyrics, and Charles Strauss, who wrote the score, and Sheldon Harnick, and it's just and Joe DiPietro. That's what I really love is, we're enabling, and I'd say it's like making the bouillabaisse. You put all the right people together, and these choreographers. I mean, my God, our Cassie will learn music in the mirror from Donna McKechnie, who I'm so fortunate now to know and to work with and to become friends with. I mean, this is. Please, somebody pinch me, please, is an accurate.
Reach in and pinch him.
Yeah.
Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. Just pinch him.
No, it's really fun.
It's amazing when you really look back at it and you've enjoyed it and learned a lot through it all and paying it forward. I was probably one and maybe a half a degree from doing a full interview. Actually, it was for a PBS special with my friend composer Tim Janis, and it was for his Buttons. He was in Buttons with Angela Lansbury, and Tim did all the music and produced that special. And they were going to fly me out to LA to go to Dick's home and interview him for the special. But it got sort of discombobulated because it was his 90th birthday and Disney pulled him away because they had that huge event at Disneyland celebrating Dick. So I got that close. So,
well, I would love to somehow get him here and do something with him, even if it's just for one night, maybe to benefit the Actors Fund. He's magical. I mean, if you watch CBS this morning did a piece, he's still doing his exercises. He loves barbershop. At my dad's 70th birthday, he came along with my dad's brother, who also sang barbershop and sang barbershop. It's kind of cool. I mean, the one person I met who it blew me away was Buzz Aldrin, because I mean, he's walked on the moon.
Yes,
that was.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool.
Did you see it was a few years back, of course. I think it was Sunday morning, where they had Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks and Norman Lear and Dick Van Dyke all seated next to each other and talking about being in the 90s club like that, which was extraordinary.
Well, here, I'll show you a picture. Wait a second. I didn't send you this picture. I'm sorry. I should have.
Oh, that's okay. We can see it live from the source right now.
Here it is.
There it is.
It'll turn. So this was at Dad's house. So, oh, wait. Oh, it's not going to be. So that's Dick Van Dyke on this side, and my dad, and Carl Reiner, and George Shapiro, who was Carl's nephew, who was also there it is. Who was the producer of Seinfeld. He manages Jerry Seinfeld. So that was just great to have those. Look at the talent.
There's a lot of yes, there's a lot of comedic genius there. And do you do what Carl used to say he did? He looked at the obits first before having breakfast, and if he wasn't in them, he'd have the breakfast.
That's good advice. I don't check them quite that well. I
Neither
just
do I.
had a full physical. So far, things are good.
You
I check
do.
my pulse, and I wear my nosies to keep away bad.
And you wear the
I wear the
nosies.
nosies. But
That's it.
no,
You're,
but Mel Brooks is still doing
yes.
great and hanging in there. And if you want to have a great fun, listen to their routine, The 2,000-Year-Old Man,
Oh, yes.
sequel, The 2,000-Year-Old Man in 2000. There is some really, it's just genius.
There's
That's why
a
I got involved in Pretty Woman, because Gary Marshall and Dad met on the Dick Van Dyke Show in 1963. And Gary always employed his friends as actors in his movies.
yes.
So they could get the extra SAG health insurance. And so it was such a joy when I saw that, and it's doing great in London. The tour just started last night, was the first performance. So I think Pretty Woman, the musical, is going to do what it wants. Women came to it in the polka dot dress. It's just great entertainment, and based on some great writing. So
It's incredible, really is.
yeah.
What are some of those continued blessings and joys in your life, Doug, that keep you going in it, keep you wanting to create, keeping the tradition alive in the beautiful way that you do, my friend?
I think I am so lucky to get to do this every day. It's not easy. It takes a lot of persistence. Like I said, this show, this dance review, has been percolating for 5 years. I've been involved with it for 3 years. It takes persistence, takes tenacity, takes a lot of idealism. But in the end, if it works, you get to entertain people and make them happy, and maybe you make a living at it. So that's really, that to me is great fun. I think that if this ends up being my last career, I'll be very happy that this worked out the way it did, because I've met some great people, made some great friends, and look who I get to play with every day. I mean,
It's incredible. It really is. Absolutely. It's a blessing, and it's a joy, and you're a master at it. I've seen you do your thing, and you've got a nose for really good work, and you always have a good time, and you make people feel good. I've been at social events, and you're always funny and just welcoming, and you don't walk in with the nose up in the air. You walk in with the red nose. There he is. There's Douglas.
You can wear it on your ears too, if you feel.
That's it. See, that's what.
Well, this is sort of symbolic. I love advertising. I love graphic design. I've been a photographer since I was, 10 years old, and selling a show, creating the artwork, and how are you going to tell people? To me, you always have to tell people how they're going to feel.
Yes.
I kind of like to say, you want to be that gorgeous naked couple in the Bruce Weber photograph for Calvin Klein. You don't know what they're selling, whether it's clothes or perfume or whatever, but you just want to be them. You want to be them. And this was sort of the example of how you're going to feel when you see this show.
Yes.
And so every show, no matter what it is, has something that could be like a red nosy, a way to communicate to the audience what the show is about, besides, say 40% and get your tickets first, or, sometimes it's a star. But the shows that really run long, touch a chord, you can't count on reviews. One of the worst reviewed shows in the 20th century, the critics said There's 23 original songs, and not one of them is memorable. They said, this show, alas, does not bode well for the future of American musical theater. And here's the hint. I think the Daily News called it a wicked waste of talent. And yet Wicked found its audience.
Yes.
Of these little girls. The poster is genius of, whispering, which girls do with each other. And it's grossed $7 billion worldwide and continues to amaze people because people engaged with the feeling of what it is. Same thing with Phantom. It's romance. It's wonderful. So, the shows that are successful find an audience, no matter what the critics say. And all due respect to critics, sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong.
Exactly.
But a lot of times critics have raved about a show and it doesn't succeed. And a lot of times they really hate it. And then you have Wicked. So
it's incredible. Just want to show you some of the levity they've been commenting and posting around the world constantly. June is here and she says, so wonderful to see Doug and Jim together tonight. Yes, this was like old home week here on the show. June, good to see you here as well. Joan Sandow says, thank you, Jim and Douglas, for a wonderful show. Our pleasure. Lisa Rodrigo says, thanks so much, Jim and Douglas. Great show as usual. Thank you, Lisa. Jen Barry in Pennsylvania. Douglas, thank you for spending time with us. Come on back. Absolutely. We'll have him back. Sherry Larson in Kansas says, thank you for joining us tonight, Douglas. Here's to many, many more years on Broadway. That's coming in from Sherry in Kansas. In New York City, Kathleen Walker says, thanks for sharing your life and stories with us. Mary in Florida says, this was great, Doug. Thank you for sharing your career with us
I think my cousin, also Jill, is watching from Florida. So hi, Jill.
Yes, I think I saw her earlier too. Absolutely. And there was Ace City Post Media. Hey, Doug, enjoyed this. You look well. Kate Higgins is watching. Welcome, Kate, to the Jim Master Show Live. Everybody watching for the first time, we're here every night live, and hopefully you'll subscribe to our YouTube channel and spread the word about our show. We would absolutely love that. Maureen in Arizona, she says, what an amazing evening listening to your stories, Doug. Thank you so much. Tova is here, and Tova says, great show with Douglas. Would love to collaborate in any way. Thank you, Tova. That is very beautiful. Brett says it's his birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday to you, Brett, from us. You're a Libra like me. You're trying to crave balance and harmony. And that's rough, the way the earth is spinning right now.
Mercury's retrograde only for a couple more days.
Just a couple more days. And Marina says, love the network idea that you had. Hope it happens to create that network. I agree. I love that as well. And I hope this gathering here on the Jim Master Show Live, sort of Dick Cavett style with a modern twist, met whatever expectations you had, my friend, and you enjoyed the time with me, as I certainly have with you tonight.
You were talking to me. I thought you were talking to your viewer. Thank you. I had a great time. You're a wonderful host. Dick Cavett better watch himself because you're in good shape. And if you use that as your role model, you're in good shape too, because he was truly amazing. And I hope everybody comes to see a Broadway show. Watch those videos on avm21.org. Buy some tickets and, get over what we went through and just be safe and healthy and come visit New York. We love you. Absolutely. New York loves you. Here's my thing. This is one more. I'm going to show a quick little videos. Where is it here?
And June says we all got to hang in New York City soon. Absolutely, June. I agree. Yes. New York
loves you.
Nicely said. Absolutely. I second that emotion. New York hotels, landmarks, people. Yes. Theater, sports, shopping, restaurants.
We love you.
And a picture of you in your bathing suit from the weekend. How'd that get in there?
You gotta be careful with these iPhones, you know.
These iPhones, they have a mind of their own. Hi, Doug, Wendy, Lo, Marie here.
Wendy,
Loved
I've
hearing.
known since kindergarten when we moved to California.
Wow, and they're here
She and
watching.
her
That's
husband live in Carmel. They go great places and eat great food.
oh, that is fantastic. Yeah, you've stayed in touch with the West Coast contingent over the years as well.
Yeah. Don't you have friends you've known since you were like 3 or 4 or 5 years old?
Yes,
Great.
yes, yes.
We have those connections.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, I forgot to mention too that you worked also on with somebody we know, but you've known for many, many years, Lucy Arnaz. Was it the Latin Roots
Yeah,
production?
well, she did a show at the 92nd Street Y, which normally is a podium and some flip charts, and she blew the roof off the place with a show
Yeah.
called Babalu, which was
Yes.
a tribute to her father's contribution of bringing Latin music to the world and the conga. And we were invited to take that show down to Miami in the summer of 2010. Go to Miami in July. You're crazy, but we were. And we had a great time at the Arsh Center, and Adrian Arsh was a great host. And the show had Raul Esparza and Valerie Pettiford, and Ron Abel conducted a 15-piece Latin band,
Mm,
and her brother Desi Jr. played drum kit, and Papo Papin on congas, and it was great. And then we wanted to move that, but Raul was going to start doing television, so she reimagined the show as Latin Roots, and she played that big show in several venues, including Michael Feinstein's gorgeous theater in Indiana. And then she has a small version that she's doing at nightclubs, Feinstein's and the Pink Room, I think, and some other
that's
places. So,
right. In Palm
you know, I,
Springs.
I
Yeah.
was I met Lucy. My dad was doing a series of hers called Dear Jane, or the Lucy Arnaz Show, which was sort of a radio psychologist she played. And he invited me to join them at Joe Allen's in Los Angeles for lunch. And she had her daughter Katie on her knee, who was 18 months old. Katie's now married with kids. And Lucy and I have been friends since 1986. And she's a great lady, as is her brother, is a really cool guy. And just super talented and super nice. And she's always got some coming. She is one of the greatest singer, dancer, Broadway actors I've ever known. And I'd love to get her back on Broadway someday.
Instinctively funny too, witty and dry, and just yeah, a super talent. Of course, you saw her when she was a Pippin, right? Which was amazing.
I
Hanging from
did.
the rafters with that was
Yeah, she
unbelievable.
played.
That's right. I saw you. You were there. Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
we
you
went up to
there.
Hartford. She toured. She toured with
Yes,
Pippin as
yes,
Berta, and out in L.A. too. I brought my stepmother and my sister to see that.
yes. And my mother was with us, and you had met my mother at that time. Yeah, I remember that. We were backstage. Very, very nice. Cool stuff. And we have Grandma Esther's too, my
We
friend.
do.
Is
Did
that
you?
amazing?
Now, what? My grandma Esther made challah and great borscht. What did your grandma make?
So she Swedish, so like the Swedish breads and the Swedish meatballs. Her mother came over from Gothenburg, Sweden, and they settled in Boston. And her mother, Hilma, was a princess, grew up in a castle in Sweden, part of the Swedish royal family, and her father, a general in the Swedish army. I'm English, Irish on dad's side, English, Swedish, French on mom's side, and that's the Swedish side.
How
Kind of
cool!
kind of cool, huh? The
Very
father side is New York, Astoria, and all in through there, which is cool. You know, you can always take the New Yorker out of New York, but you can't take the New York out of the New Yorker, right? Not
no,
at all.
and that's what I missed in LA. I mean, everybody's in their cars in LA and all of that, but the thing I liked coming back to New York, you could just walk out your apartment door and be surrounded by the human race. And you'll hear 20 different languages, and none of them is English. And it reminds you that we're all here together. One of the greatest things to me was the 7 o'clock cheering we all did during COVID. It started out, in the celebration of all the healthcare workers who were really just having such a hard time. And I wished it had continued. I would love to see it continue worldwide, just to remind us that no matter what our differences, we're all part of the same thing. And I really love that about New York, that you really feel like you're part of humanity, and a nice humanity. And
Yes.
I never got that living out in the West Coast
I
for
kept
various reasons.
saying, through this show and even, the professional work elsewhere, I was saying that I'm hoping, still hoping that we rise from the ashes of everything we've experienced the last 2 years, more empathetic, more kinder, less divisive, more unified. We listen more and we work together more, and everybody's invited and welcome at the table. I'm still hoping for that. Um, there's been many for all of us because we've had this great period of reflection and pause in the busy lives that we have. What are some teachable moments and things that Douglas learned about Douglas, and some things that now Douglas wants to do going forward as a result of this great pause and time for reflection?
I think it just makes us really grateful for every little thing. I saw a really stunning documentary this past weekend called The First Wave, which is filmed at Long Island LIJ Hospital. And it follows one particular woman doctor and a nurse, and then two of the patients. I mean, people died every few minutes. They thought they were fine, and then they did. When the film started, I started to have a little PTSD about how did we, you're sort of disconnected. How did we really live that isolated life for a year? So it really made me feel really grateful for everything. I mean, maybe I don't check the obituaries and get out of bed, but it made me really treasure my friends and the work I'm lucky enough to call work, which is really just playtime when you think about it. And just really be even, I always was very gregarious and loved schmoozing and talking to people, as my dad did, table hopping and all of that. But even more so now, I think we all came out of this, in spite of the horrible divisiveness and partisanship. I think underneath it all, everybody learned to treasure each other and hopefully be kinder to each other. David Friedman, the composer, Lucy's good
Mutual
friend,
friend
always
of
says,
ours. Yep.
be kind. Uh,
Yes.
and I hope everybody came out of it with a little more of that, because, you know, we made it through all this, thank God. And for the hundreds of thousands of people who didn't, we owe it to them to be better going forward, I think. And there's always room, no matter how cool you think you are, to do a little better.
Absolutely. Can never have enough levity, my friend. Can never have
I
enough
love
levity.
the levity.
Well, they already designated, with the Tonys, the Peabodys, the Emmys, the Oscars, the Grammys, the Tellys, all the things one can get. You got a levity tonight. Are your feet tingling?
Is that what that was?
That's what that is. Yes,
Oh, I'm so excited. I thought my
it's
shoes were
it's
too tight.
it's not neuropathy or anything. It's a levity.
Oh, all right. Well, we need to come up with a thing for levity that people can,
Yes. Yes.
we'll work on that together.
Yes. It was a slip of
I
the
love
tongue.
to have a levity.
I
So it's
said,
not just a PGOT, it's a PLEGOT. It's a
yes,
Pulitzer, Levity, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony.
exactly. I said that the show has essences of light, love, and levity, and it always does. And that's me anyway. It's what I like to do and interject in my work and to inspire and lift others up. And I said it a little too fast last summer, and I said light, love, and levity, and they hopped on it. The Levity Squad, the viewers, everybody. So, and then I kept saying it was a mistake that I said that. And like, Jim, it wasn't a mistake. It was meant to happen. You were supposed to, during this pandemic and everything going on, you were supposed to say levity. So sometimes things like that happen, my friend, right?
Yeah. Well, so that's your version of the cheering, is just the levity that we all have and the levity that we give to each other and the levity that we can take.
Yes, exactly right.
I levity it.
You levity it. Absolutely. Spread the word. Tell everybody about the levity and about our show, my friend. I really appreciate that. And we will definitely keep the porch light on for you. It was so great. Just, in a selfish way for me, it was just so great catching up with you and seeing what you're up to, and hearing you and seeing you, because it's been a while because of COVID. We haven't been able to get together, and there haven't been events, and I know that's coming back, so I'm sure we'll be seeing each other in person. But
I certainly hope so. But
really great
you have to
having you.
join. I do a Friday night Zoom group, because we used to get together on the second floor bar at Sardi's and have a few cocktails every night. And when COVID happened, the last night, so I will invite you. Some of the people who are watching are already invited.
Oh,
We call it
fantastic.
Zoom Tales and Zoom Tales. ZOOMTAILS, like the cocktail, and
Yeah.
TALES, tell stories. And it's been a great sustaining thing. So you'll bring levity to the Zoom Tales.
Levity to the Zoom Tales. Absolutely, my friend. So good seeing you. And again, I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I certainly have with you this evening. It was really fantastic.
Thank you for asking me to join you. It's really been fun.
My pleasure. Spread the word if you know of others that you think would like to pop on now that you've
Sure.
experienced it. We'd love to have them as well. And keep doing what you're doing. Okay, you be well, and we will see you soon. And if folks want to learn more about anything, they can go to
SuttonsquareEntertainment.com.
perfect.
SUTTON, Sutton Square,
Perfect.
SuttonsquareEntertainment.com. Or just reach out to you and you'll hook us up.
You got it. Absolutely. All right, my friend George Burns and I say thanks for being with us. Have a great rest of your night, and thanks for
Hey,
being
good
with
night,
us.
Jimmy.
Say good night, Jimmy. Take care, my friend. It's good seeing you, Douglas. All
Bye-bye.
right. Cheers. Bye-bye now. The one and only Douglas Denoff, coming to you live from New York City. And you got a chance to learn about him, but also some of the other things that he's been involved in over the years. Of course, the illustrious background with his family, with his father, Hollywood, Dick Van Dyke, all these other incredible productions. But he carved out his own path, with it being theater and Broadway and off Broadway and regional theater and more. And it's extraordinary, isn't it? Again, he's responsible for a lot of great productions that you have seen. And we talked about a lot of them here, and really exciting that so many more are coming your way. So check out, we'll keep you posted, as he lets me know about new things opening. We'll let you know here on our show as well. We always keep you guys abreast of everything, but really a treat to have seven-time Tony nominated Broadway producer Douglas Denoff, and so much more. That's a title, seven-time Tony nominated, but really a good egg, and somebody who, as you can see, really loves what he does. He's passionate about it, and he cares about everybody involved, and he cares about the audience, and all of that is so, so important. Ace City Post Media says, yes, we need a little New York City out here. Yes, we will. Well, see, the winds blow from west to east, so it'd be kind of hard to blow that New York City, energy out west, but we'll try to bottle it up if we can. Thanks for joining us on the show. I hope you guys, anybody that's new, we certainly hope that you'll join us again here on our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, where we're bringing back the lost art of conversation with a modern twist, a modern vibe, and sort of a warm conversational freestyle tone. You don't see a lot of that out there these days. Everything is just boom, 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 boom. We could even do these and edit these and just upload them, but I love live, and I love interaction with the audience. There's just something, all my years in live television and radio, there's just something about live and interaction. And Douglas had no idea what I was going to ask. There was nothing prearranged or any of that. He rolled with it, and that makes for really good conversation. You're welcome, Kathleen, in New York City as well. Good stuff. Good stuff. And we love you ever since 1961, talking about Douglas, Robin, Wendy. Thanks for joining us as well, gang. You guys are the best. Truly, truly the best. I do want to let you know that tomorrow we have a special show at 4 p.m. Eastern. Usually we're on 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Sometimes on the weekends we do two shows. But tomorrow, from Celtic Thunder, I know everybody's all excited. This is his return visit. I've interviewed him many, many times on PBS, and all the gang from Celtic Woman and Celtic Thunder and you name it. Damien McGinty, who was also on Glee on Fox, and so much more, actor, singer, songwriter. He's now in Nashville. Of course, he's married. They just bought a house. He and his bride, all excited. And they moved from LA to Nashville. Of course, he's originally from Ireland. He's going to be with us tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, which is going to be fantastic. Tomorrow night, a legend from the Steve Miller Band, Kenny Lee Lewis, legendary guitarist and bassist, is going to be with us, which is going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to look forward to that as well. Just want to let you know as well, composer, lyricist, songwriter, performer Michael Mott, he's all excited. He's going to be with us for a great chat and some music. That's going to come up on Friday. And again, we have so many guests. We're booked all the way almost to the end of November, just about every day a week, which is incredible. As we always say, gang, don't forget to smile. Don't forget to share that levity. And don't forget to find your Zen place. Mine is with loving family and friends, of course, and my work in television, radio, stage, and film over the years. Very Zen place for me as well. And of course, the ocean. Growing up here along the East Coast, near the ocean, you got to pull me out of it. Swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, sailing it, walking it. Just being near the ocean is a Zen place for me. Find your Zen place and enjoy. Breathe from the diaphragm. We always talk about that. You're watching the Jim Masters Show Live, Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series right here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, which is a channel dedicated to entertaining, informing, educating, and inspiring. Give it a nice subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. Leave us a comment on the channel. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss any of our content, our episodes. Kathleen says, have a great night. You too as well, Kathleen. And Maureen says, I'm going to have to watch Mini Jim on my phone at work tomorrow. Oh, so you're going to watch it on your phone. I love that. Kathleen, hey, Kathleen did thank you very much. She did one of those super stickers. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That helps support our series. That's available during live chat, super stickers, super emojis. We thank you very much, Kathleen. You're a sweetheart for doing that. Hope you have a good night. Jen Barry in Pennsylvania says, thanks, Jim. Fun night. You're welcome. Sherry Larson says, thank you, Jim, for another wonderful evening. Glad you're back. I am happy to be back. Missed the family already. We'll be together for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So that's not too far away, but it was so nice seeing everybody and childhood friends in New York and so much more. Good to see all of you. You guys are really, I'm just looking at all these comments that are coming in here. Good night, everyone. Robin Wendy says, this was my first time with your show. It was a real treat. Thank you. Thank you as well. And I hope you'll stay with us. Just to let you know, too, there's over 500 episodes in our archives on our YouTube channel with celebrities, folks from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, culinary arts, inspirational people, authors, sports, comedians, science and health, wellness. It's incredible the amount of people that we've had come through the Jim Masters Show live. Check it out. You can see some of the amazing guests, some of the amazing content. Sometimes we do holiday shows where the whole set is decorated for the holidays. Sometimes it's just host and viewer levity chat shows. A lot of people don't do that, but we do it here because we treat this like a television show more than anything else. And again, thank you to Kathleen. We really appreciate that. Very kind of you for that super sticker. We appreciate that. And you guys, the best. June, sending love your way as well. Night, all XOXO for our dear friend June. And Christine, Jim, thanks for an entertaining show. And Douglas tonight. It was great hearing more of all the shows he was part of. Plus, of course, some of the cool things that are coming out too. There's a few things he couldn't mention yet because they're still working on them, but he'll mention them soon. We'll have him back as well. Glad you spent time with family and friends. So are we. It's been a long year and a half, 2 years, and with all the birthdays and everything. And my nephew, oh boy, I'll have to do a whole show on that. He is an innovator. He's coming out in Innovator magazine. He's designed something that is truly extraordinary. It's involved in artificial intelligence. He's extremely smart kid. He went to Full Sail University in Florida. He's just really, and he's going to be going to France and Singapore, speaking engagements, all this cool stuff. We're very proud of him. But he, with a few people that have been selected, coming out of the next edition of Innovator Magazine. And there's going to be a whole profile on him. And we're very, very excited about that. That's my nephew and godson in New York, who we love very much, who celebrated his birthday last weekend as well. We were all together. All right, gang, a lot of celebrations here. Being with you is always the best. We're going to wrap up. We're here tomorrow. Again, we have 2 shows tomorrow. Damian McGinty, singer-songwriter and from Celtic Thunder, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Join us then. And then more music with legendary guitarist and bassist from the legendary Steve Miller Band, Kenny Lee Lewis, is going to be with us tomorrow night. So 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, Damian, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, Kenny Lee Lewis. Wow, I'm going to have to go to bed early tonight. It's a lot of work putting these shows together because of all the production elements. So we got 2 shows tomorrow. Plus, I'm on the air with my professional work. It was go nice to be back in Loveday Hall. So nice to be back in Loveday Hall, one of my Zen places. I hope you all have a restful night. Sweet be your dreams. You as well. Maureen in Arizona. Thanks for being with us, Maureen. Always wonderful having you here. Thanks, gang. You're truly the best. And we love you all. Thanks for all of the messages on Instagram and the emails and the tweets and the Facebook messages. Of course, we have our Facebook group, The Jim Masters Show, Loveday Hall. That's a group dedicated to the show on Facebook. Many of you are in that group and you love to chat with one another as well. Good stuff. Thanks for being with us. Great episode tonight, wasn't it? Yes, a nice way to return and to be back. And again, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would love that. When you hit subscribe, look what happens. It says subscribed. And there's no cost when you subscribe. I don't know why they call it subscribe, because there's no cost, there's no fee. You're not getting a magazine subscription. Everybody's saying goodnight to each other. But we're going to say goodnight to you. This is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time. This time, till next time, we'll be back. 2 shows tomorrow. Double Loveday, we call it around here, 4 p.m. Eastern, and then 8 p.m. Eastern with some great guests. We'll see you then, okay? Be well, take care, love one another, and love yourself. It's important to do that. Great having Douglas Denoff, our dear friend and Broadway producer extraordinaire, on our show tonight. And always great to have you with us. Take care. Have a good night. We'll see you again soon on the Jim Masters Show live. But there's a couple more comments coming in, and we must slip them in because they say from Jen, I've been hand painting part of my Halloween costume. I'll post it when it's done on our show's group at Facebook, which is the Jim Masters Show Loveday Hall, because the audience calls this Loveday Hall. Perfect. We might be doing a Halloween costume party show here. Halloween falls on a Sunday. It's coming up quick. What we might be doing, sometimes we do shows where we do themes. We've done St. Patrick's Day and Valentine's Day and holidays and sang Christmas carols and all kinds of cool stuff on our entertainment variety lifestyle talk show series. So we might be doing a Halloween show. If you have costume pictures, send them in to us and maybe we'll post them on the air. Good night, Lovedies from Lisa Rodrigo. Good to see you as well. Lisa, thanks for being with us. A real pleasure. Good to see you guys, all of you. You have a good night, okay? Thanks for being with us in this episode of JMS Live, the Jim Masters Show. Whatever time it is you're watching this, whether you're watching live or maybe you're watching this later in the archives, because a lot of people do watch our archives later, we thank you so very much for being with us. There's a billion things you could be watching right now, billion things you could be doing. And especially on YouTube, there's a billion videos and all kinds of stuff. Sometimes it's like a blur. But we have a unique place here, this entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series. It's not just interviews and it's not just upload a video and walk away. We're very engaged with all of you and you are with us. And it's a beautiful thing we've got here. Let's keep it going. We'll see you again on the next one, okay? Love you all. Take care and be well. Cheers.